by society. The lecture today is on creating a new energy field. This lecture is designed for those of you who are unable at the present time to transcend to higher levels of awareness. For example, take in your life today, if you are embodying lack, limitation, and struggle, and you desire to have wealth today, ask yourself the question, why do I not have wealth today? There are people in the world who have wealth, people that have billions of dollars, and then there are those people who have nothing, who are mired in poverty and struggle. To transcend from poverty to wealth is to get into what I call a new energy field. The energy field is to get into the flow of energy that perpetuates wealth. Wealthy people are constantly in the flow of wealth. Wherever they go, there are deals to be made around creating wealth. If you're in poverty, wherever you go, you're creating an awareness of poverty. And so whenever a poor person thinks of money, they think of it within the energy field of poverty, not in the energy field of wealth and prosperity. Why? Because poor people have not experienced the energy field of wealth. And if you have not experienced something, how do you get into that flow? So today I want to talk to you about how to get into the energy flow, not only of wealth in terms of money, but wealth and prosperity in terms of yourself. To remove the beliefs that you have of poverty and to change that energy field, you have to leave it. You have to be bold enough to go into a new energy field. How many people who are living in housing projects believe that they deserve to be in the same room and the same building and the same office with a multi-billionaire person? Or do we look at them and say, they have all of this money, big mansions, fine cars, and we desire at a distance to have that? It becomes what I call daydreaming. We are daydreaming about wealth. That means that we're in the poverty field and not the field of wealth. So someone would say that 3% of the people in this country controls 99% or 97% of the wealth of this country. And how do they do that? How does this small number of people control all of this money? Because of the energy field that their consciousness is playing in. And if you're going to play in an energy field of wealth, then you must leave the thoughts of poverty. Poverty is limitations. Most of the people that are in the energy field of wealth do not work on jobs for very long periods of time. If they are working on a job, they are working towards obtaining or achieving the level of awareness which will place them in a higher energy field. So that if they desire to be around people that are making money, then they're creating things in their lives to lead them into that direction. Are they being the ones that control the money, greater than people in poverty? No, they're not. If you today do not have any money, or you have beliefs that you don't know where to get money, I want you to stop for a moment and take some time, just a few seconds as you listen to this tape. Take some time to know one thing, that you are not in an energy field where money will flow to you. You're not in the loop of the circle of money. None of your friends, none of your relatives, none of your associates that you are in contact with today have any money. Not the type of money that you desire to have if you desire to manifest wealth. So as long as you're in this energy field thinking of solutions of achieving money and wealth, you will continue to manifest lack and limitation. Look at your lives today, and it has been one job to another. All of our lives we go from one job to the next, and we dream of wealth, and wealth never comes. And yet, we do nothing different than what we've always done. We go from one job to the next, and we expect somehow to get wealth. And that's why people create the lottery for those people who dream of wealth and who are not in the energy field of creating wealth. And if you're playing the lottery, you are playing from lack and limitation, and you're hoping for one windfall to actualize your dream. And I say to you today, change your beliefs. How do you change your beliefs? First of all, look at yourself today. Take the time to look at yourself. Look at your relationships that you have in the world today. What are those relationships yielding to you? Are they yielding abundance or poverty or misery or unhappiness? Are you now looking and seeing yourself as someone who desires a change in your life? And if so, have you desired change before? Yes. We've all desired changes before in our lives. We've made changes. As I said to you earlier, we'll leave a job for another job. We'll go and seek that job to think that we're making a change and progress in our lives, when actually all we're doing is moving ourselves from one appearance of poverty to another. Now, many of you have thought in your lives, what is it that this empowerment is all about? What are the things that move people toward empowerment? Well, I have thought, what is it that people would desire to hear in a lecture? What are the things that move people? What moves people are money and relationships. People desire to have successful relationships. We want completeness in our lives. What we believe is completeness are relationships. If you are a man, you desire to have a successful relationship with a woman. And if you are a woman, you desire to have a successful relationship with a man. If you do not have those successful relationships, then you believe your life is incomplete. And you begin to see or believe that it is something wrong with you. That I am not complete. So I need to make a change somewhere. And when you decide to make the change, what energy field are you making it from? Because television and movies show you these idyllic, successful relationships that people desire to have, and you see yourself running on the beach and all of this fun and joy and happiness and so forth, and yet your life is not being able to bring that, manifest that into the world, so you feel less about yourself. Well, today you can change it. As African American people, we are always daydreaming. And there's a difference between daydreaming and creating a new energy field. Daydreaming is when you sit up and have beliefs and lack, limitation, struggle, and poverty, and you desire wealth. Creating an energy field is a consciousness that you are aware of how wealth is created. so that you began to understand how to create a successful relationship. You create a successful relationship and wealth by creating a successful you. So you look at yourself and your life and your journey on this planet, and you're then able to see how you create things in your life and what energy field you're operating in. Are you operating from an empowered energy field or a victim energy field? As African Americans, we operate from a victim energy field with daydreams of an empowered energy field. So we look at Bank of America and IBM and giant buildings, and we daydream about having control of those buildings and those businesses without creating the energy field in our own communities to actualize businesses like that. We desire to daydream about something that someone else has created. And that's the way we daydream about relationships. We desire to daydream about relationships that other people have on television and the movies rather than our own. How do our own relationships look? What happens when you bring two people into a relationship and both people are operating from the energy field of victim consciousness? You have two victims in a single relationship. And when you have two victims into a single relationship, all you have is victim consciousness. And if you bring an empowered person into a relationship with the victim, then what you have is division. Because the division comes from the empowered person living and functioning in a different energy field. And so the empowered person is in an energy field that is circulating with empowered beliefs. And the victim is in the energy field of victim beliefs. So there's a conflict. There's division. So happiness in the African American community as we know it has been with victims in victim relationships making excuses for each other. What do I mean by that? Well, the woman will say to the man, you know, I have to understand the black man because the black man has been abused in this society. And the reason that the black man acts the way that he acts is because society has abused him so. And he's not able to understand anything about a relationship. So as he manifests abuse in the relationship, I don't seek to help transcend that. I seek to understand it and embody it as natural. And the black man is saying the black woman is the one that gets everything in the society. She can get a job because they will hire her on the job. And as soon as she gets some money, she's going to think that she's better than I am. So black women don't understand black men. And these beliefs, I'm saying to you today, is in the energy field of victim consciousness. And until we create a different energy field, we'll have another 200 or 300 years of trying to understand each other. You don't build relationships of empowerment in the energy field of poverty. First of all, we need to create images in our minds that we don't need housing projects. We need to see that and imagine that in our consciousness and understand that housing projects were created by people who saw African Americans as unable to take care of themselves. We don't need welfare in this system in order to create a new energy field. We need empowered beliefs about ourselves so to know that we can create a new energy field of empowerment. So we don't need to say that the reason we go to mom and pop grocery stores in the African American community that we don't own is because we cannot get money to own the stores ourselves. And that is an excuse today that we don't need. And if you are today wondering how you're going to get money today to bring into the world what you desire to bring into the world, stop. Take your mind off of the money and put your mind on the consciousness that creates money. Stop worrying about money itself and understand that you need to get into the energy field of where money circulates. And you're not in that energy field if you are worried today about a job interview. And you're worried today about a small amount of money on a promotion. Understand you're not in the energy field of prosperity and wealth. I'm not saying to you that there is anything wrong with that. I'm merely saying to you that if you desire to express wealth and have abundance in your life, you have to get into the energy field where that energy flows effortlessly. So the more you have, the more you'll get. And that is the law of all creation, even in empowerment. The more you become aware of your empowered beliefs, the more that you will have, the more that will come to you. And the same principles operate even in the laws that are controlled by humans in this society. That if I have money, I'll have more of it. If you have $100 million, soon you'll have $500 million, and soon you'll have $1 billion. And if you only have $200 a week, and you are living in scarcity, and you believe that that's all you're worth is $200 to $400 a week, then 10 years from now, you'll still be in that same level of awareness. You will work on a job for 20 years and never express wealth. And that's all that you desire to have in your life is money. And it's the same thing with personal relationships. You desire to have the ideal woman or the ideal man. And yet, you're not in the flow of energy to attract those types of people. So you continue to get the same type of man or woman because that is the energy field that you're living in, and that is what you are creating and functioning in. You cannot get the person that you see in the movies and on television because you're not in that energy field. And any more than you can get $1 billion and you're functioning in a poverty energy field. It's not going to happen. So to change the energy field, dare to know that you have to change your life. So if today you desire to affect change in your life, do one thing. Say to yourself silently, I am that which I know that I am. Now when you say that, understand that you are now aware of a presence in you that's greater than where you are now. And you have to keep saying and imagining that. You cannot have any doubts in your mind. This is something that I want to emphasize to you. You cannot have any doubts in your mind that you are that which I know that I am. You have to believe that absolutely. You cannot be in poverty, desiring wealth, and doubting that you are wealthy, because you will remain in poverty. I'm saying to you today, you can be a multi-billionaire if that's where your heart desires are. And I'm saying to you, you can create the energy that will bring you the money. But you cannot create that energy if you're worried about a job. If you are preoccupied today with finding a job to pay you a certain salary that will give you the normal benefits of life, then you're not going to manifest wealth. And you need to understand that. And if you are not going to manifest wealth, then you need to know what you're manifesting. This message are for those people who desire to affect change. This is a message of when you are ready to deal with wealth and prosperity in your personal relationships as well as your career relationships. Then you're ready to embody the principles of empowerment. The principles of empowerment state very simply that you cannot be something that you are not aware of being. And I mean being that normal. If you're in a room with billionaires and you have $5 in your pocket, you don't feel like a billionaire. And people are writing out checks for donations for $10,000 to some charity, and you are in awe of what they have. Then you have not embodied wealth. You don't deserve to be there at this moment because your consciousness is not comfortable being in that energy field. And it's the same thing with relationships. If you're in relationships and you desire to be in other relationships, understand whether your consciousness is ready for those types of relationships. It is no longer necessary for African Americans to look out into the world and blame other people. We don't need to blame other people. We know what other people are capable of doing. We know what has been created in this society. We know that no one is seeking to uplift us. We know that no one is seeking to help us achieve empowerment. If someone had been seeking to help us achieve empowerment, they wouldn't have given us housing projects and welfare and alcohol and drugs and unemployment and widespread discrimination. You would not have that in your life today when you're about to go on an interview or go collect some unemployment or go on a job where you're not feeling comfortable about yourself. You wouldn't have that in your life if you were living in an empowered society which sought to create opportunities for you to be creative. So no one has created any opportunities for African Americans. We don't need to belabor that point. What we need to do now is to say to ourselves, I want to get into a new energy field. I want to leave the energy field that I am in, which is causing me the grief, both in my relationships and in my career. And in order for me to do that, I need to create a vision of empowerment. I need to see myself now functioning and living and existing normally in an empowered state. I need to embody that. There are many people who know intellectually many things and can tell you and quote you scriptures and can quote you the Quran and can tell you the Bible and can tell you the Gita, and they can tell you all of these wonderful sounding terms, but they're not in that energy field. They just are looking at it from a distance. Because to be in that energy field which they're talking about would mean that they were empowered. It would mean that they spoke on their own authority. And to speak on our own authority means that we have to have our own agenda and our own responsibility. We need to have our own buildings. We need to have our own architects and engineers and contractors design buildings that are designed to last like the pyramids of Egypt. Not like buildings that are going to go down in 100 years. We need to talk about quality. We need to talk about new designs. We need to talk about new energy. That's the energy field that I'm speaking of. I am not speaking of you embodying poverty. I'm not speaking of you getting up today crying and being in so much depression that you can't face the day. I'm not speaking of that. I'm not speaking of people in so much pain that you are looking for anything to help you. That you're at that low level today where you just don't know where to turn. And I'm saying to you today, turn inward. Go within yourself and know this one thing as I close. Know this one thing, that within you is the creation of the universe. That you ask yourself this question. I was either created by a powerful being with a powerful consciousness who could take an idea of life and without any help from me or any other human being manifest it into the world. And if I was created by a consciousness with that much power, why would that consciousness desire to see me in all of this pain and struggling today? The pain and struggling in your life today did not come from that consciousness. It came from the beliefs that you have picked up on your journey about yourself and what people have told you. We have been told that we are victims, and we have accepted it. We believe we need training programs in order to get jobs because people told us that we were not intelligent enough to get jobs without being trained. We have been told that we're uneducated and incapable of being in charge of our lives. And we have been told that we have not created anything in this country that is of any worth beyond entertainment and sports. And we have been told that we do not possess creative talents. And if someone has told you that all of your life, you hear well-educated African Americans today who will tell you black people have to be twice as good as white people. And that's the most ludicrous thing for any child to grow up with believing. Because it means that you are less. You're starting out believing that you are less than someone. And you're starting out today, if you have no money, believing that you are less than people that have the money. And you're giving your power to the people that have the money. And I'm saying to you today that you are not less than anyone. Your greatness has yet to come into the world. You are now looking at yourself as being poor. I'm saying that you're wealthy. Now, are you going to believe me? Or are you going to believe what you see around you? Or are you going to believe the truth about yourself? If I'm saying that you're wealthy, and you're saying you're poor, then you are whatever you're saying that you are. Insurance companies bet money that you will live. You're betting money that you'll die. So we have to be sure of what we're embodying. And I'm saying today, close your eyes, let the pain leave you. See yourself empowered. No matter how much it takes and how long it takes you, take your mind off of not having the money and the job. If it takes you 2 weeks to work on yourself, you put the time on yourself rather than looking for a job. You devote this time now not to nervously looking for a job, but to finding out who you are and what you desire to express. And when you begin to do that, when you get a job, if that's what you desire, then you'll be able to keep it and you'll be able to achieve empowerment. So if the pain is great today, understand it, it's all in your mind. The pain you're feeling today is because you are in an energy field that you do not desire to be in. And there are other energy fields that wait on you. And I say to you, join in with other people and go into a higher level of awareness and live in a different energy field. And when you do, you will be able to see tremendous change in your life. Thank you, and have a good day.